Hi, everybody. Let me see. Let me make sure everything is on like it's supposed to be. Oh. How about that? There we go. I did not click the right button. So here we go. Hi, everybody. I had it unlisted until about half a second ago. Nope. Still unlisted. Public. Publish. Live now. Are we good? Let me see. Huzzah. Hi, Jess. I forgot to click the button to make it unlisted or to make it public. So I have to go in and do that. Hi, Nikki. Hope my mouse isn't too loud on my disc. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Nicole. Why are you so noisy over here? Are you rubbing on something? Hi, Karina. Hi from Norway. All right, that's better. I had some dust on the bottom of my mouse that was bugging me. Hi, Nikki. Second Nikki. 2 Nikki's in the chat. Can't stay long. Husband is almost home to run errands. I'll rewatch later. Thanks for tuning in, though. Enjoy running errands. I don't know if it's still cold where you are. I know it's cold in most of the U.S. right now still, so hopefully it's not too cold. I am going to be I'm not going to be the errand runner over the next couple of days because my car is in the shop until Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. Well, thank you, Karina. I really enjoy doing them. Since the first episode, the viewership has gone down, and so I think I'm finally hitting the actual viewership, and it's not a lot, and that's okay. I have 7 episodes, and I came out of nowhere with this podcast, and so I'm still very happy with how it's turned out, and I'm truly enjoying it myself. And so it's one of those things to where it's definitely a selfish thing, and I'm just glad that I get to share it with other people. Still cold, Nicole? Yeah, we are going back down to freezing temps tomorrow here in San Antonio, so for sure. Amanda says, we're supposed to have a -5 wind chills tonight in Maryland. I will say, as much as I am so looking forward to moving back to Maryland and, the East Coast, I am not I'm going to miss the nice mild winters that we normally have. Yeah, Nikki, you've been in my car. I have a 2013 Ford C-Max Energy. So it's a plug-in hybrid, and it's old, and when we came back from Japan, we needed a car. It was 2018. It was a great car at the time. We're the type of people that always buy used cars, and it's been great, but over time, the electric battery holds barely any range, and now I'm kind of stuck with a mediocre hybrid, and it doesn't make sense to buy a new car right now if we're going to move in a year, and there's not really much wrong with it, but there is an issue, but Ford never recalled it, where it drains my battery over time, and so I'm literally 2 weeks outside of my 3-year warranty. And the battery, I have to jump it every time I want to go anywhere, which is fun. It's really fun to do that in a neighborhood so that people see you jump in your car every day. It's fun to do that at 7 in the morning to drop your kiddo off because it's too cold for him to ride his scooter to school. So I'm just going to buy a new battery, live with it for the next couple of years, and then maybe we'll see about replacing it. Just as why we're in Colorado right now, and it's in the 50s. Yeah, normally at this time of year, 50s is normal Texas winter for us. Normally it's in January and February. It's cold. It's in the 50s, 40s. Every once in a while, maybe get down to the 30s, like maybe at night. But for the most part, I mean, it's not. I mean, also, like what, the Wednesday or Thursday before we got down into like the 20s and 30s, it was in the 70s. So this is pretty cold for us. Nikki says we've had a warm up here in Montana. Please tell me I got that right. I'm so bad at like anything. It's so odd to see the rest of the country getting what should be up here. Yeah, I know. Like it's nice though, because it's like everyone is like gets to complain and feel justified in it too. Like, and I say that being from somebody who's has a pretty mild winter most of the time we've been here in Texas. 8 degrees. That's like I'll pass. I'll pass on 8 degrees. Yes, absolutely. No, thank you. Montana, Minnesota. What is MN? Minnesota. I love this. I am this way. You're welcome. Everybody laughed at me. This is on the internet for people to see. I should know that because I have been seeing Minnesota, but everybody says Minnesota instead of saying MN, and they say Minneapolis. So it's like, that's nice and embarrassing. I'm just going to blush on camera a little bit. Nikki says, I shoveled my first snow of the winter this week. So my father-in-law was saying that in Maryland, the snow there, thank you for that. Emma is Montana. The snow has like this huge layer of ice on it. So they had to go and break it up so they could be able to shovel it. And it's like not something that can be like you can use a like snow blower with. It's that bad. It's like really compacted on top. Karina says it's been a cold year so far in Norway, -10 Celsius now. I'm not sure how much that is in Fahrenheit. My husband's really good, so he has a friend in Norway. Okay, fun fact. Last weekend, when it was really cold here, we made sun buns. And so, Karina, you are probably going to be shocked that I even know what that is. But so we learned about, oh my gosh, hold on. MO is Montana. I would have said MO is Missouri. That was my thought, was that MO was Missouri. But see, look, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Either way, thank you all for making me feel so bad. Okay, but all right. MT is Montana, MO is Missouri, MN is Minnesota. Thank you, Nikki, for setting us straight. But so sunbuns. So when Norway loses light, right, and then they gain it back. I guess at the beginning and end of that that kind of season for them, they do these pastries. And my husband is the resident baker, and he's the better cook. Like he makes, I forget what they're called now, but they're really big meringues, and you put a bunch of fruit on them, and they're really great. That's what my son wants every year for his birthday. And it starts with a P, and I can't think of what it is right now. But anyway, so his friend that he games with all the time is from Norway, and they told him about the pastries back, I guess, when they lost light, right? So moon buns. And so he learned about it, and he was like, we'll have to make the sun bun ones. Pavlova, yes, thank you. And so last weekend, he took all my put my lighting equipment, a mount and everything, and he live streamed baking sun buns to his friends in Norway. They're from all over the world, truly, but the one that he plays with the most is, I call him his other spouse, is in Norway. Yeah, Pavlova. Hi, Bobby. Yeah, we make he makes pavlovas a couple times a year, and that is my son's birthday cake. It has been that way for years now. And so when we have friends over, like for his birthday, he makes 2 pavlovas, and everyone gets a slice. Everybody puts the fruit they want on it and stuff. And then we make the whipped cream there, but we always have to have like extra cupcakes because not everyone is like as venturous, but it's so good. And like he always has a little bit of extra, so he'll make little like Hershey Kiss like shaped little meringues. It's really good. I prefer when it's like super crunchy versus super chewy. Other people like it the other way. It really just depends on how long you bake it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not the resident baker, but we'll see. I was going to make, what are they called? $1,000,000 bars or something like that. So it's like a Twix bar, but you just make it. And so I got all this stuff, but then I realized I didn't have a 9x9 pan. And so I got to find one. Bobby says, I just had pavlova for the first time at Epcot Food and Wine last year. So good. Now I want to try a real one. It is, so if you can just get the meringue down, then all you have to do is once the meringue is done, it's pretty, like any meringue, it's pretty fragile. So like he always has to like put a little wooden spoon in the oven door so that it cools slowly so it doesn't like crumble in on itself and die. But then once it's done, it's good to go. And you could just put fresh fruit and whipped cream on it. That's all we do. Karina says, my husband is a gamer and games a lot with people from the U.S. Would be cool if our husbands were gaming together. That would be true. I do know that this particular Norwegian is definitely single and definitely younger. He just got his first apartment and he went home for the holidays. He lives 20 minutes away from his parents, and he spent the whole weekend at his parents' house for the holidays. I was like, I love you. You are almost a child. I love it. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in. I don't have a ton to update you with. The end of the year always comes in January every year. I spend most of it kind of wrapping up the previous year and preparing for the new year. And most of the time that has to do with taxes, inventory, all that stuff. Inventory takes me like from the time that I kind of print my first statement to the time that I'm all done with inventory is about 2 weeks. Not your husband. And so I finished that last week. And so I am all done with that. But I'm also now, juggling, doing all my normal stuff that I would do during every January or every December or whatever with the podcast stuff. So I'm spending a lot of time editing and recording and things like that. Though now that I have been lucky, the last 2 episodes I haven't really had that many technical difficulties with it. So that has been really nice that I haven't had to do a ton of extra work, no re-recording or like sometimes it's just a lot of extra work, and these last 2 ones haven't been that bad. So that's been really nice. Episode 7 released today, which I need to remember to comment on Patreon to tell them who the guest for episode 8 is going to be. I'm going to write that down because I am going to forget. Episode 8 announcements. So there are quite a few people here that are part of the Seam Society, and that is the $10 tier on Patreon for the podcast. And so one of the perks of the podcast is that when the episode releases for this current episode, then you get notified of who the next guest is going to be that day. Everybody else has to wait until normally the Wednesday or Thursday before the episode releases. And so that's kind of nice. And then so they find out so early because I record my interview with the next guest normally that Tuesday or Wednesday following the previous release of an episode. So it's a pretty quick turnaround, but it's important that I tell them that pretty soon so that they can submit listener questions, which is another perk. So anyway, today's episode was Ket Duran. She is my tax lady, and it's so weird because I say this in the episode, but like I don't know. I think I just enjoy learning about the whole tax thing now because it's such a big, scary, daunting thing, and I have a small understanding of it. And so I think having achieved that small understanding is like, it feels like I have climbed a mountain, so I'm so proud of it. So I really enjoy having that knowledge. And I also really enjoy having a person that has way more knowledge, and I'm now not really that responsible for doing most things, so that I have a resource and someone that I can depend on. I do pay a good chunk of money every month for it, but it's so worth it, and I'm so happy and grateful to have it. And so anyway, I talked with her today. Thank you, Jess. I always know that you're going to watch it first thing, and I'm so appreciative of it. But I was really looking forward to this because I know that it's like not everyone's cup of tea to sit there and listen to 2 hours worth of chatting about taxes and stuff. But I just, like, I know what it's like to be pre-me and now. And I know that pre-me was like really struggling and stressing and terrified. And so the relief I have now is just really, really nice. And this, what I want it to be is like this great anonymous resource. Like, you don't have to ask a question that you feel like is a dumb question and then, get an answer that maybe you're questioning or not if you're asking in a public forum or something like that, and you don't have to jump in to paying for it with a firm that's too big or somebody that doesn't know what you're talking about, doesn't know what they're talking about, so it's honestly, I really enjoyed it for sure. I love that. I love that. Like, I am so glad that you have been enjoying it, Jess. But so anyway, the episode is out now. Obviously, it's available, and it's great time-wise because if you're like me, you're starting to get in 1099s. You should have had your inventory done, or you're working on your spreadsheets and all those things, all the tax prep. And if you're kind of finding yourself drowning a little bit, hopefully it can give you some resources or at least some like buzzwords that you can take to a tax professional and be like, all right, I'm not really sure about these things, but I heard that I need to worry about them. Can you tell me if I need to actually worry about them or help me with this, that, and everything else? Let me see. My chat was messed up. Okay. Karina said, it was such an interesting episode. Wow, USA is so different from Norway tax-wise. Here costs the same all over the county. It makes it a lot easier. The whole time I did this, I never really considered what the non-US listeners would be thinking about that. I was really tunnel visioned from a very US selfish standpoint. So, but that's interesting too, to know that like you guys maybe get a little bit of an insight into kind of what we have to do. It is pretty involved, especially because it's state to state. That's when you start reaching a number of sales outside of your state. That's when things start to be a lot more scary. But when you're kind of only really worried about the state that you're in, you haven't reached nexus anywhere else, and you're doing your own and your like own state and federal taxes, it's a little less daunting. I can speak from experience for that. But oh, taxes are the same all over the county. I see. Yeah. No, here they are different state to state. There are some states that have no sales tax. There are some that have taxes based off of the county you're in, and some, yes, and then there are some where like you can charge them your tax amount from where you're at, and there's other ones where you have to charge the tax specifically in the county they're in. It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's why it's like kind of scary once you start reaching outside of that one location of taxes. And so it's a lot to consume, and it's a lot to like, because like when you're reading these forms and stuff, it's like, dude, what does this mean? What does this word mean to me right now in this context, where elsewhere it might mean something completely different? Amanda said, I really enjoyed the episode. I was surprised to learn she was going to be featured, but I would love to see more bag-making community adjacent folks. Yeah. It's funny because I also just got a comment on the last episode about somebody wanting me to get more of the bigger names, such as Kasaya and Okla Roots and things like that. And they're not off my list, but I wanted to kind of ease into the podcast. I don't know if I'm going to go past a season 2. I hope to do a season 2. But I'm very happy with my guest list, and I really like that I can kind of feature names that you don't know, but you would hopefully enjoy listening to. Amanda says, Nexus was a new word for me. I live in the DC area, so I do markets in DC and Virginia, as well as Maryland, where I live. Yeah, Nexus. And so if you have a website and you have Shopify, there's a whole section on Shopify where it will tell you kind of like what the limits are, right? So I get kind of screwed on Nexus when it comes to me. And so we go into this in the episode, but Nexus is essentially when now you have to start charging taxes in that state. Once you've achieved a Nexus, essentially you're done for. That's it. You always got to do it for that state. And so some of the states you have to do this plus that. And some it's this or that. And so I kind of get screwed on the this or that states because it's either 200K in revenue or 100 transactions or something like that, right? And so like in a given 12-month period, if I have multiple pattern releases or something, and that many people purchase even a $4 pattern, doesn't matter how much revenue comes from that transactions, that number of transactions that I have had come from that state forced me to achieve Nexus. And so I have had a couple states where like it was only a couple $100 over the course of the year that I had, in total transaction amount, but I had that many small transactions. Like the Tuesday tote is the big sucker for me. Like it gets me Nexus. It's the most annoying thing. Amanda says, so super valuable. I'm having my accountant, listen to the episode too. Yeah, and honestly, Ket she's a really great resource. She has free consultations. I think they're 30 minutes and stuff. So if like you listen to the episode and you get your list of questions, book a little 30-minute consultation with her and then like run through that list to get as much information out of it as you can. And like even if you hired her for like a couple like hour-long appointments or whatever to further kind of pick apart exactly what you need to do and get more information on that, it can be really helpful down the line too, and it's a business write-off. Robin says, haven't had the chance to watch the latest episode, but what a smart idea to include her as a guest. Thank you. It was funny because a couple months ago, one of my friends, Tara, she's also a part of the Patreon. She was like, you should make a video or something about taxes, because she kind of knows that I know what I have to do for me, and that's about it. I mostly understand it. I get easily confused on a lot of those things, but I was like, boy, do I have a treat for you, because I find it really valuable, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. But I hope that it's something that is there as a resource and that people can refer back to it later on. Or, it can also help out Ket too, because the more people she helps, the more word of mouth gets spread about it. And then, more people get legit. And that's what I want. One of the things I kind of put up in the preview is that, like, I don't really have to worry about being audited. Like, yes, it would suck to have to go through that. Yes, it's scary. Yes, I'll sweat profusely if I open up that envelope from the IRS. But at the same time, like, I don't have anything to worry about. I did what I needed to do. Hi, Roberta. How are you? Taxes are confusing. Yes, it really does help to kind of just get yourself over that hump of understanding. And then that can really, really help you out. So anyway, that is up now. It's available. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes total. I promise y'all, I am trying to get the episodes down to be less than 2 hours, and it is not happening. So you get what you get. My husband likes to tell me it's okay because it's every other week. And I'm like, I'll take it. Thank you. Okay. So obviously we're at the end of January. The last time we were at the end of December. So this is a new year and I have new goals. I did post this in my group, and I just wanted to say that I hated that I apologized for it, but at the same time, I am sorry for it, as far as not really following through with a lot of the things that I really wanted to follow through in the last year and a half, really. And I know people are waiting on certain products. Like, I have labels that a good friend of mine was supposed to be cutting with her laser, but then she moved in October and life got busy, and she has a full-time job, and I haven't been getting on her about it, but now I know I need to, and I know that I need to get the templates out. I have the Rosie templates done, but my husband is he's one, after he finishes this class, he has his like last class for his master's, I think. And so like it's really, really hard for me to ask him, not because he doesn't want to, but like he has schoolwork that he's doing. His position has changed, so he's working extra hard. He actually took command of a small flight, and then he took a second command at the same time. Both like, so it's like instead of like one normal size, he's got two small size ones, but he has like way competing jobs all the time, and so like he's kind of pulled in a lot of directions. So I don't want to add to that, and so it's really hard to do that. And so, and I haven't taken the time to learn the program to create the templates, and like he does such a good job, like I don't want to. I'm gonna mess it up. But we'll get there eventually. My goal is to get out the templates for the Rosie, the Gaia, and I think I was gonna try and get the Tuesday toad out, but I don't remember. I know those two for sure, the Rosie and the Gaia, but I'm not sure which other one I'll get out if I can. We'll see. And then I want to release 2 patterns this year. I'm also teaching I have an open sew at Sew Whatever Studios in November. That's gonna be my 3rd Lord of the Rings one, so that will be fun. And also this year we are preparing for a move, which seems silly to prepare for a move a year in advance, but that's kind of what you do. You kind of start to, put things in boxes per se. Get organized, get prepared, get ready to get ready. And so we're going to be in that get ready to get ready until about May, and then we find out where we're going. And then from that point on, it's like full on prepared. So that's part of why I haven't fully planned out season 2 of Splitting Seams, because it's going to be so hard to know how capable I'm going to be of juggling everything while kind of preparing for the move and things like that. Trips and whatever else, and just a lot. So anyway, my goal is to just follow through, is to get those things that I really want to do and that I've said I wanted to do, as a business owner, and get them done at least. And so that's my goal this year, is to just do what I say I'm going to do. And so I've got plans. We'll see what happens. I have started designing. I jokingly said in the news station, the goal, we've been in Texas for 6 years now. So 2 tours, people would refer to it as. We stayed here on purpose so that we wouldn't have to buy and sell in 2023 because the market was still kind of crap. And the longer we stayed, the more we would have a chance of being able to hopefully kind of push for the location we want. So my husband's job puts us only in a few options around the States. So we kind of have an idea of one of the very few options that we'll go to, but we're pushing to go back to where we want to build and retire and have our forever home. And so that's in Maryland. But we'll see. He has a couple different options, and we only get to really demand very little in this military life, so we'll see. Kira says, I would have loved to be more prepared for my move, but it was kind of sudden. That's fair. Moving does suck. It is. So we have learned that even if we weren't in the military, we would always pay to have people come and move stuff. But there are some things we're not going to have them move now that we've acquired since coming to Texas. So like our printers, my sewing machines, things like that, we're going to get a U-Haul and do a partial move ourselves to make sure that we get it where we want it and how we want it. But yeah, so I'm really hoping for Maryland. Yes, I know Manova's there. So where the land that we have, that we own in Maryland is, I think it's like a 30 or 45 minute drive from around the area that Nova is. And then there's a couple other friends that I have there as well that are in the sewing world. So that's pretty awesome. Westminster, Maryland is technically our land is in Finksburg, Maryland, but it's closest to a slightly bigger town called Westminster. So that's like 45 minutes westish of Baltimore. Yeah, we had a TV get broken by the movers, and like we're also in the mode now of like we see stuff and we buy and we're like, nah, this is too risky. We don't want the movers to break it. Like, and we're close enough to where we will be post move that it's like, oh, we'll just wait and buy that after the move. We don't need it now. We did get a new printer in December. We got the H2C, and so now we have two printers. One is a nice big one with some really cool technology, and we just don't trust the movers. Oh, nice. Yeah. My husband is from Westminster, Maryland, and it's beautiful out there. We still have family there. Like I said, our land is in Finksburg, and so it's a really gorgeous area. So we're pretty excited. Okay, so I said I was starting to design. So in the last episode, Brittany asked me if I was designing anything, and I was like, well, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just playing around in November, and in the November live stream, you saw me preview. I just played around and I made a little tote. It was big enough for like a laptop, and it was just like kind of simple, but I just kind of wanted to make something, get some juices flowing, and then I got a bunch of emails and messages being like, you should make it a pattern, and I'm like, it's another tote. It's kind of a basic tote, but so I was like, okay, well, if I did this, I would want to add like a center divider, and I actually completely designed the center divider and had that ready to go, and then I was like, this isn't enough for me. Like, I know that people want something simple from me and things like that, but I don't think that is in me all the time, and I think that I get a lot of joy out of problem solving and finding unique solutions for unique problems, which is like my favorite thing to say. And, taking something that you couldn't imagine how it's sewn and figuring out a way to do that on the machines that we typically use. Jess says, yes, we did a full Diddy move because of all my sewing and laser machines. Yeah, so we have never done a full Diddy. We've only done a partial Diddy. And so it just means essentially a DIY move. That's what like a Diddy is, what people say that. Apparently they've changed the name. It's no longer Diddy. It's something else, starts with P or something. My husband just told me today in the car. But yeah. We'll see. We were just talking about that today, and like, so the cat that we rescued, and it's been over a year now. He is something else. Okay, he is hilarious. But so like every morning when he wakes up and he's ready and waiting for us to wake up, he will sit in the foyer and howl, which kind of makes its way up to our room, or he'll just come in the room and start howling, like, wake up, it's 6:05, why are you not out of bed? He is the worst. And so I was just talking with Alex today, and I was like, I cannot imagine that cat in a hotel room. We were going to get us kicked out of whatever hotel room we're in, so I was like, I think one of us is going to have to fly with the cats. But also Gaia, she will be 16 in May, and so I don't know how I feel about having her drive over the course of 3 days to get to the East Coast if we get to end up in Maryland. Karina says, she's doing a pattern test now. It's a tote with a laptop pocket. Norwegian designer. Awesome. Yeah, so going back to what I was saying about the designing of the tote, I just wanted more out of it. And so like, yes, I could do a tote with the center divider and call it a day. But I wanted something a little bit different. And so after some poking around of various totes and things and just like kind of seeing what was, typically done or not typically done, or like maybe some elements that I liked, but like I wanted to alter. And again, all of this around the idea of having it be capable of being made on our typical machines. And so I came up with another idea, and so the center divider is scrapped for now, but I do like the idea that I have, and so It's another triple compartment bag, but it's different than the Rowena. So it's kind of like if the Rowena was Aries' big sister, this is kind of like Rowena's older cousin. So we'll see. I want it to be kind of like a nice large tote that can be like a business tote, or would be a great like carry-on tote, something that can be fully closed with all these compartments. It doesn't have any expanding sides or anything like that. It's a different design. There's at least one other pattern I've seen that kind of has this element that I want to add to it, but I'm doing it in my own way. I've never sewn that pattern to know exactly how it comes together, but I know that this one, the way my idea is different. And actually, I told Nikki Kinder about it, and she sent me a screenshot of a bag that was posted, that was given to her by one of, like a photo that was sent to her by one of her customers looking for something that I had just explained and drew up on my little Procreate and sent to Nikki of like, okay, this is what I have in mind. So I'm at the stage right now of getting the exterior bones done. I want to be happy with the base size and the sides and like how a laptop feels in it and things like that. And so that does take some doing when it comes to just feeling happy with the shape, the size, the width, the base, and all that stuff. I think it's going to be another big booty girl, but we'll see. Like the Adina is what I'm getting at. Amanda says, I have driven cross country twice with 2 cats. Okay, so fair. I'm trying to think. We drove we flew to and from Japan with cats. 2 cats. We went, and then we lived in Maryland for a couple months. Speaking of which, one of the podcasts, I said something about how I was in Maryland for a couple years, and I meant a couple months, and I never fixed it, and I feel really guilty about it. But it was only a couple months. That is so unimportant, but it bugs me, so there's that. But then we drove from Maryland to South Carolina, then South Carolina to Mississippi, and then Mississippi to Texas. I did call Adina a big booty. She's a big booty girl. She's got a big booty. Yes, they survived. The flights to and from Japan was hard. The flight to Japan was hard because that was the first time they'd ever been in an airport, ever been in a car like that. So we had to go from Dover, Delaware to Philly, get on the plane, go from Philly to Washington, hang out in Washington for like 30-something hours, so it was like a long layover. No, it wasn't. It was just under 24 hours was our layover, because it wasn't long enough for us to kind of go outside and go back through customs and everything, because we had huge suitcases and cats, and it was, we're moving to Japan, so it was a whole thing, and we were so miserable. And then on the way back, we brought a child as well on the way back, because I had my kiddo in Japan, so it was like not fun. But I know we can do it, but with Gaia being so old and Oliver being an absolute menace, I'm like, one of us will fly. We'll pay to ship the cars. Well, somebody's going to drive a U-Haul or something, and one of us is going to fly, and probably going to be me. So there. Hey, Tracy. Lindiana Jones. Is that, am I want to say that I know the name of Lindiana Jones, but I need to be reminded, because I'm going to be wrong if I try to make a guess here. I recognize the username, but I'm pretty sure I'm connecting the wrong name to the wrong username. Amanda says, I will admit we did almost lose one of them, who escaped out of our hotel room one evening. See? So when we came to, our poor cats had to be in a kennel. I knew that was you, Nyasha, but I was like, I'm going to be wrong here, and then I'm going to look like a dummy. I knew it. But when we moved to Japan, we were in our hotel for like a month and a half. And so the whole time our poor cats had to live in a little kennel. It was so sad. I cried every time. Every time I had to leave to visit them. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm the worst mom ever. I felt so bad. The one, Gaia, that's probably why she doesn't like most people now. Because she was like, okay, well, you put me in that cage and other people were there. So, of course, I hate them. Yes, well, hopefully it's this time next year. I'm like telling myself, ooh, this is my last January in Texas. And that's what I'm going to say to myself every month this year. And then I'm going to be proven wrong in May when they're like, just kidding. You get to stay. And then I will hate everybody for a long time. So, anywho. So, pattern, back to the pattern. I'm really easy to go on tangents. I'm sorry. But so pattern designing, I have been playing around with the base. It's like, because it's funny, it's like the base will fit perfectly fine, but I'm like, but do I want it just a little bit wider? So then you have to like take some off of the length to add to the width, and but it's not always a 1-to-1 ratio there. It really depends on the curved corners and like all that stuff. Yeah. So it will be, I hope that by the next live stream, I will have at least one prototype to share with you. Once I get these bones done, then I get to really play, because the goal is and I think it will be possible. The goal is for this to be top stitched like a normal, whatever handbag you have that has a drop-in lining, like a normal tote or something like that. I don't see why you can't, like, in my mental sewing, in the process, as I've thought it out, it should be fine to do that. We'll see. I can't say yes one way or another until I do it, but I'm pretty sure. So if I get to the point where the final top stitch is like unable to be done on a normal machine and it really needs to be done on something, or it, not that it can't be done on a normal machine, but like it's just a really difficult top stitch, I'll probably just change the design entirely, because I really want to make something that is a little less complex and intimidating, because the Adina was super intimidating for a lot of people. But the way that I've designed it in my brain so far, I think it'll be just a normal basic tote top stitch, so we'll see. I want to play around with strap designs. I'm playing around with the big feature element part that's on the exterior today. So I got that pattern piece, kind of that prototype piece made up. So far it looks good. Again, I'm going to be, like I always do, be very, very cognizant of bulk. So my plan is to have it be like not bulky at all, of course. But we'll see. So the exterior is going to be constructed like with 2 panels, a front panel and a back panel, and a base. So just 3 exterior pieces for that. So no gusset or anything, but then the interior will have a gusset. So, it's, so there's no big bulky seam matchups like what happens when you do something like the Aries with the drop-in and things like that. Nyasha says, as we grow, we can do more things. Make what brings you joy. Yes, that's what I want. I really just have a lot of fun finding the limits of what I feel like we can do or what we have been used to doing, and just push it just a little bit at a time. I want to push you and I want to push me, and I get most of my fulfillment from growth. And this one, I hope that people like it. I want it to be kind of like a businessy bag, like something that you could put a laptop in, put a binder in, fill it up, put a bottle in there, maybe. I'm not sure about the water bottle. I know a lot of people are like, we need a water bottle holder. And I'm like, okay, but you guys carry ginormous water bottles, okay? You and your Stanleys, people. I'm not designing a bag around a Stanley. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Take your Stanleys and hold them in your hand. That's what your damn handle's for, okay? Sorry. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Nikki. But you didn't ask me to put a spot in the bag for it, so there's that. You guys saw that I have been playing around with medical tape. I need a fidget when I talk, so this was in closest reach. I don't know why I have it in here, but I think I was wrapping vinyl with it. So anyway, I am finally inspired. I really am looking forward to tackling this project. I think it's going to be good. I don't think I'm going to have a prototype for at least another couple weeks. See, same. I have I have nary a Stanley in my house. I have smaller mugs, which is fine with me. I do have Owalas. I do like them. I'm a straw person. I am, but when I'm at home, I don't put any of my drinks in a mug of sorts. I have these double-walled. I am so sorry if that was loud. I have a double-walled glass. I have a whole bunch of these. A whole bunch. I have like 6. But I love them so much, and they keep stuff cold for so long, and it doesn't sweat, and all that stuff. I love it. So, no need for Stanley mugs for me. Yes, the laptop aspect. I know that it's tough with laptops because people have so many different sizes, right? So you'll have 17-inch laptops, 14-inch laptops, all that stuff. And so I'm going to do the best I can. I am going blurry. But hey, no shame to y'all for the mugs you love. But I like, I don't know if we have Contigo. We do the other one, the Simple Modern, I want to say, because they have some of the fun, like, ghosties and skellies and stuff like that. But, so this one is like a Tervis mug, but it's not Tervis brand, and it's glass, but it's just a double-walled glass cup. I love them. You can get them in all different shapes. But anyway, no shame to anyone who uses them mugs, like especially the wonderful Mormino ones. All I'm saying is that there's no way I'm going to design a bag that's going to carry these ginormous-ass cups y'all be carrying. Like, just go refill your just smaller cup, refill it more often. That's all I'm saying. So I have like I guess it's a 16-ounce one, and it doesn't have a handle on it or anything. I really love it, and I love because it's got a push top thing. It's really nice. And then Karina says, and from the rest of the world, thank you so much for the video you posted in the group. You gained the respect from the rest of the world. Well, thank you so much. Ria says, I also have an abundance of Momina Owala bottles. And Jess says, mine is a gaming one, but I'm not sure about the size. It fits a Tuesday tote, but it's a weird fit. Yeah. Again, y'all can carry whatever mugs you want. Happy for you. I love that for you. I refuse to design a bag around it. Because it's also, hate to say it, it's a fad. And so there is a point in which it will fade. And so don't hate me for saying that. But it will. It's like the Tervis mugs. Everybody had those Tervis mugs back in the early 2000s. And they don't exist in people's houses for the most part now. Maybe. Anyway. So, but Karina, thank you. I didn't, when I made my post, like I had made my post on my personal page on Saturday. And then I had thought all about it on Saturday night, and like I said, I had told the one customer, like, I just hope I can do it for my business one day. And then I just kept thinking to myself, but why? Like, why can't I? And it would be like, well, I would lose customers. I'm like, well, do I really need or want? Why are you doing this, camera? Stop it. I'm just trying to exist here without being blurry. I think it was blurry. I caught it out of the corner of my eye. I just love when I do these lives and you guys are privy to how my brain just ping pongs around itself. Anyway. So, I think I was talking with my husband about this, and I think that so many of us probably felt the same thing I did, was that like, wow, like it's going to get so much worse. If this isn't what does it, like it's going to get so much worse. And it's not so much about being on the right side of history, because like that, I think that comes across as like being, well, I'm worried about how I'm going to look 5 years from now. And it's not so much that. It's more about like, I want to be on the right side of history because I know that that's what I want for me and myself. And so I'm just going to make it be known, and others be damned. And then I I didn't know I've told you guys so many times I don't really engage in social media that much. I had no idea that outside of the sewing world, tons, like, what happened in the sewing world of people making these very public statements took off like a wildfire everywhere. Like, everyone was doing it in all aspects of non-business and business, and like little niche corners of the internet. And it is so heartwarming to see that support throughout. Absolutely. And so it was a very selfish reason that I made that post, and I think I made that decently clear. But at the same time, I did want to say this if it was brought up today, that I know that there was a lot of posts going around of people being like, who has made a statement, who hasn't, who should I support, this, that, and everything. And absolutely everyone, you have the right to make your choices however you want to, for whatever reason. That is, I'm not taking that right away from anyone. But I do think that there should be an acknowledgement that there is a privilege for a lot of us who are not a person, that we're not a person of color, to make that public statement, because there are some people of color who don't feel safe enough to do that. So they can't do that for the safety of their family or their friends or things like that. And so I wouldn't be so quick to cancel a business because of that, because they didn't make a public statement. So many of these businesses are small. If you send them an email, it goes to their phone and they read it within however many minutes of that email being sent. So if that's a concern and you're considering pulling future purchasing from this company because you're not sure what their stance is on, why don't you send them an email? Don't necessarily pressure or force them to do something that would not so much risk their livelihood, but place their livelihood above their safety of their family. I personally know one business owner who really had to battle with that thought, and that's something that I don't know a lot of people truly considered, but I also don't. I mean, I'm not in that situation to know what it's like. I just know what I was told. So, yeah. So there, I said that. Sorry to be the downer, though. I know that it's tough, but I don't want to ignore it, and I'm happy to acknowledge it and discuss it. But I also understand that, we need a balance in our world right now, and we can't always, we can try and enjoy these other little moments of time in between all the other horrid shit that's happening. Nikki says, I don't think I would put a mug holder in a pattern either. I mean, if the bag is big enough to hold it, then toss it in there. So no need for a special pocket. Agreed. Karina says, I do understand those who don't make a public statement. No problem with that. But I really appreciate those who do. That was my thought on it. Like, I don't know. I don't judge. I only judged what I wanted from myself. And so that's kind of the way that I took it. If somebody's very blatantly MAGA, they're not getting my money anyway. So there's that. Yeah, so I am looking at my list here. So I did have that on my list if that was brought up. I did lose about 200 members of my group. So a lot of people talked about, I lost X amount, but I gained X amount. I'm still in the negative, which is totally fine. Like I said in my statement, good riddance. But if you feel so inclined to share the group or your patterns or whatever your recent makes, feel free to do that. I made that statement, livelihood be damned. It is a privilege in which to do that. At the same time, I did lose potential sales, and I don't want to be like, hey, can you help me make that back up? But if you are, if you're here and you're supporting me and you feel so inclined, I would really love for you to share if you get the chance, because that really helps keep me going. Sales have been down for everyone that I know in the last year, 2025. My sales went down about 18%, I think is what the overall number is. So, and that was from a lot of the crap that happened last year. So, yeah. Nikki says, it is kind of tough to see the community split though, but I think it was necessary. Lost a few members too, but not nearly as many as I was expecting, luckily. Same. And I was honestly completely overwhelmed with the wonderful words of support that were just pouring in. I have never really felt so validated and accepted and supported in such a way. And honestly, it feels a bit selfish because it's not about me. But it was wonderful to see us all kind of agree in this very communal, very horrible thing, but we're all together in this feeling, and there's something really wonderful about that. Amanda says, I appreciated your statement, and so many others also inspired me to make my own as a small business owner, though I have less at stake. Will also support and share my makes using your patterns. Thank you. And then Laurel says, I've needed some motivation to get over my sewing slump. Maybe I'll do that for motivation. Love to support the group. Thank you. Nikki says, you know what else is necessary? My current obsession with Palia. Thanks for that. It's been helping me keep my sanity for the last couple of weeks. Absolutely, I got my friend into it. So and she's been playing it. Olivia and Sam play it as well. So Jess plays it. Jess just came to my plot the other day and chopped down some flow trees. So you can add me, Nikki. You have to tell me what your username is. I pretty much approve any request that comes my way because I'm like, sure, why not? Server hopping reasons. But happy to add you. Amanda says, I don't want you to go on a tangent, but just wanted to share the support. I have to sign off, but I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you so much, Amanda. I appreciate you saying all those nice things, and I'm glad that you made your own statement. And thank you for tuning in. Karina says, we all live in the same world. Let's make it beautiful with amazing bags and a safe place to live. Exactly. Yes, Jess is Hex and Joy. I am Ivy Evermore. I think I can type in this chat. Let me see here. Ivy Ever. I keep wanting to change my name, but now I'm too involved with the Discord groups and my friends now that I'm afraid that if I change my name, people are like, who the hell is this? I sent one of my friends to view your plot and she loved it. Who was your friend? Who is it? Please, I like when people come to visit my plot because I'm proud of it. So I'm like, look at all my flowers. They're pretty nice, aren't they? These are all the bugs in the game. Those are all the fish in the game. These are all the plushies in the game. You like it? I'm way too proud and way too excited when anyone comes to my plot. People will be like, okay, here's an example. This is only for the people that play Palia. It's technically Palia. I'm going to call it Palia. I don't care. Thank you, Wendy. But somebody was like, can anyone help with like cooking these things for the bundle? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I can help with whatever. I'm not doing anything anyway. Everything I have, I'm done with the game. So I'm like looking for stuff to do. I was like, you want to come to my plot and cook? So they came to my plot and I helped them cook. I didn't need any of it. And then by the end of it, I was like, you want to see my plushie house? And so I switched my plots so they could see my plushie house. And then I let them pick out plushies and then I go give them plushies. So it's like, that's what I'm doing with my life now. It's like, come see my plot, let me help you, and let me give you stuff that's hard to get in the game. You're welcome. Love it. That's where the joy is that I'm getting out of my life, and it's coming from this game called Palia. I love it. Okay. Well, yeah, tell her to add me. I love my plots. She can come pick out a plushie. Tell her to come pick out a plushie. Okay, Laurel. Anyway, sorry. It's me talking about my game. I like my flowers. I am, for those that know Palia, I am 144. Not true. I think it's 140 now. I have that slots left for decorating. I'm about to hit my decorating limit. That's okay. I love helping noobs. Okay, it's fine. I have one of my friends that has joined. I go and help her all the time, and she had 3 chests on her plot, and she's like, how do I get more inventory? I told her like 3 times what she had to do, and I was like, girl, I can't help you any more than that. Yes, happy to share plushies. Tell her I have quite a bit. She probably will love my plushie house. No, that's what it is. I'm 144 spots from maxing my plot. I've been playing since January. Or July, not January. We're in January. I'm actually going to be playing not long after I get off. So Alex is in charge of cooking dinner tonight. I made him. And yes, all 8 in 2 lox boxes. Yes, that's what you're supposed to do. She did not know that. So she had like next to no inventory, and she was like, and I was like, ma'am, get all 8 chests, please. Thank you. But so Alex is cooking dinner, and then I made a friend very early on in Palia where we chopped a grove, and then we were done, and she's like, can people come help me chop a bunch of flow trees on my plot? And I'm like, sure, great. And I've only been playing for a few weeks at that point. And so it was like, holy cow, what is this? And like, she had a cool plot and everything. And so now we've come full circle. And I've had her come to my plot a couple times to chop flow trees. And now I'm going back to her plot to help her do some charging and things like that. We're doing that tonight. So it's like, I got a whole other life on Palia. So anyway, sorry if you get me talking about Palia, I'm gonna talk about it way too long, so fair warning, don't do that. Anyway, so thank you so much for tuning in for the updates. Again, I don't have much to show you, but I really hope that I do next time. I already know the name of at least the first part of the name of what the pattern will be, and so I am excited to show you that so that you can see that I'm working on it, and I really want you guys to see kind of my concept that I have in my mind come to life, and then I'll share it as soon as I can, so I'll be excited for that. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, as always, if you need anything, please feel free to email me, tag me in the group, something like that. I don't really monitor comments all that much on YouTube, but I've been trying. So please tag me multiple times if you need to. Yes, just as I've been a solo player since beta, happy to finally play a little with others. Yes, I'm always happy to help too. Like if anyone plays Palia and you're like, look, I don't want to cook these dishes by myself, let me know. Come cook in my plot, please. So you can come see my plot and then cook there. So, yeah. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I will update you guys with more updates as soon as I have them. Thank you all for being so kind, and yeah, I will see you later. Thank you.